So now, before I leave, before the next speaker, I want to speak about somebody for a few minutes. Mark Prather, are you here?
Can you lift your hand? Oh, there he is.
So everybody, give it up for Mark Prather. Yes. So without Mark, I probably would not be on this stage. A few years ago, I think it was six years ago, I was about to buy a single-family residence in Hollywood Hills. And I told Mark used to be my boss. I used to work for him. He owns a mortgage company.
He's actually the last broker that we worked with before Albert became a broker.
That's right. And Mark was a mentor to me. He was the first person that took the time to mentor me. He taught me a lot of things. He guided me in the right direction because I was kind of going everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And Mark taught me how to be structured, how to have discipline. And when I almost bought that property, I told him, and he said, "Albert, that's a terrible idea. Don't buy that house. That house is the worst thing you could do in your life." He said, "Go buy a 4-unit property." And I wanted to live in a nice Hollywood Hills house, and I couldn't make sense of that. So when I went back, I just thought, wait, Mark's really successful. He has all the experience. I'll be a dummy if I don't listen to him because I already made mistakes by not listening to people that had more experience than me. So 2008 hurt, and I'll talk about it later in my presentation. But because of Mark, I ended up getting 4 units for $260 instead of getting a single-family residence for $460,000. Those units were making me $2,000 a month net cash income, cash flows. So I want to thank you, Mark, because Mark has to leave at 1. And thank you for coming. Means
we love you.
We love you, Mark. Now, the next speaker is really important to me. He means a lot to me. He's like a brother, and Sil's going to introduce him.
His name is Willie Escobar, and that's his wife, his beautiful wife. And he's actually the first believer in the mortgage guy. He opened up our Pasadena branch, and yeah, he was an 80K earner, I believe, when Albert told me I'm going to go meet up with him, and I said, you keep meeting up with all these people, and everybody wants to steal all your ideas.
He wanted to have lunch with me, and I told you, I don't want to go.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to go. I'm like, you keep meeting with all these people. They're just like taking ideas, and nobody wants to join our company, right? And, well, turns out he went out to eat with Willie, and I'm like, okay, how did it go? He comes back, and he's like, oh, I think he's going to join. He's going to be our first branch manager. So basically, Willie was making 80K a year, which is not bad. But, I mean, obviously, it could always be better. And, wait, what was?
Scaled his income.
Yes. So he said, okay, I'm going to join the company. He joined our company, and now he just was hanging out with the wrong people. Then he started hanging out with Albert, listening to Albert, going through his training system that we have now, and he's actually scheduled to make $1 million this year. Everyone give it up for Willie. Woo!
Give it up, Willie!
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Thank you so much. My name is Willie Escobar, and I'm a committed, loving, giving leader. I just had to say that. Thank you. So for me, it's a huge blessing to be here with everyone today. You could have all been somewhere else. You could have been at home. You could have been with your families. You could have been at the park playing with your kids. But I think we all have a gift in life, and that is to help others and to improve. So thank you for being here. The person I want to thank before I get started is Albert. As you guys know, Albert's a huge risk taker. And like he said in the beginning of the conference, he funded this fucker. So congratulations, buddy. I want to thank Albert again. I think it's very important that we always give credit where the credit's deserved. Albert believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. When I was, like Sylvia said, making 80 grand a year. And we started working together, associating. He spent the time to show me some tricks, show me some techniques, and now life is great. So I was born in 1975 in New York. My parents got divorced when I was 4, and I quickly learned what it was to have a scarce mentality, to feel like maybe the next day there wasn't going to be any food on the table. However, I had a strong mom. My mom's in the audience somewhere. Mommy? I had a strong mom that always made everything perfect. We actually didn't feel broke, but we were broke. She came to this country from Guatemala and didn't know the language. And when her and my dad divorced, she didn't have any friends, she didn't have a job, but nonetheless, she managed to actually go to college and got her AA degree. So I'm very proud of her. At the age of 10, I actually had my first job. At the age of 10, I learned to be kind of like the man of the house. I was the only boy at home. I had my mom and my sister, so it was my choice. I would travel from Daly City, California to San Francisco by myself on the BART. It's probably a 30 to 45-minute ride. And I would go and work at a fast food restaurant and make $10 a day, not an hour, $10 a day. And that was my way of showing my support for my family. So I would give my mom everything I made, and I know maybe it didn't make a big difference for her because $10 is not enough, but it made a huge difference for me. I remember we shared a 1-bedroom apartment between my mom, my sister, and myself. And actually, when we had family visiting from Guatemala, because they would come and stay years at a time, it just worked out that way. They came to visit but would stay, but nonetheless, they were here for a better opportunity, just like everyone. It never felt crowded because there was always a lot of love and a lot of caring. It didn't feel like we were poor, like we were broke. We always had everything. Today, you're going to be listening to a lot of great speakers that are going to be sharing with you what it's going to take your life and your business to the next level. I want you to do me a favor and tell the person to the right of you, I promise to take notes. You can tell the person to the right of you, I promise to take notes. Now I want you to tell the person to the left of you, I promise to implement and take action. So the difference between successful people and people that aren't successful, it's the action they take. I'm sure you've all gone to many, many seminars, and you got pumped up. You say, yeah, we're on fire. Like when you go to Tony Robbins, I like Tony Robbins, by the way. But when you walk out, you were just pumped up for the moment. You didn't learn about systems, about time management, about scaling, about growing your business, about hiring. You just walked out, fired up. So do me a favor and please take action. The thing that made the biggest difference for me in the last few years was the action I took, was the people I hung around with, was the seminars I went to, was the money that I spent on myself. See, many years ago, every single dollar that I made, I would spend it and give it to someone else. I would pay someone else. I would never pay myself. I would never invest in myself or my business. I got into the mortgage business in 2002. Any others got in around that time? All right, there's a few old of us in here. I was young, I was single, I had no kids, very few responsibilities, and I quickly learned how easy it was to make a lot of money without really having a lot of skills. And I also quickly learned how easy it was to blow everything. I have a lot of friends in here that went through the same thing, and everyone has that 10-year-old story. Yeah, I remember back in the days. So it's time to get over it, right? I'm over it. It's about moving forward, growing, forget about the past. It's about the future. So one thing I learned when the market crashed in 2008 was that I actually was living paycheck to paycheck. What do I mean by that is if I made $500,000, I would spend $500,000. So when the market crashed and I had no more income coming in, I realized I was actually broke. I was not a businessman. I was making money. I was blowing it all. So when the market crashed, I sold my house in Pasadena, beautiful 3,500 square foot home. I was living the life. Had a lot of friends that were loving they were loving the alcohol, they were loving the drugs, the women, everything that came with it. But of course, all that is temporary. You quickly learn when the money goes away and all the flashy toys go away, who your real friends are. Everyone was gone. I mean, everyone, even some of my best friends. When the market crashed, I had just met my lovely wife. She's my wife now. Can you stand up, honey? I had met her. She already had 2 kids of her own. And she was pregnant with our first child. So can you imagine not being able to provide to a family? It wasn't her. It was her and already a family on the way. And I was so flat broke that I remember I couldn't even afford to cut my hair. And I've told some of you this story. I would actually cut my own hair. I would go to the restroom and kind of clean up the ears a little bit. I did the best I could. And I remember I used to call my mom and be like, hey, tiene $10 que me preste, can I borrow $10? And she would tell me, sure, yeah, of course, come pick it up. But I had no gas in my car to go pick it up. So that was the perfect opportunity to invite her over for dinner, and she would bring us some groceries, a little bit of money. And I remember things got really bad for me. I was depressed. I wasn't making any money. I felt irresponsible. I felt like a loser, a bad husband, a bad father, stepfather. And it wasn't the Willie I knew. It was just, I was in a dark place. And one day I drove to a city called San Pedro. Everyone familiar with San Pedro? All right, cool. San Pedro's about 30 minutes from here. It's at the beach. And there's a big cliff right there. And I told myself, this is it. I'm tired of being broke. It's tough. No one in my family wants me around because I'm depressed. I have no energy to get out there. And I was about to jump. I was there for about 30 minutes. But then I decided not to jump. I chickened out. There were a few reasons for chickening out. Number one, my family. I knew that they needed me. And I know my mom needed me as well because she's a single mom. And I knew that life could only get better. I had always been a fighter, always. And I had always been raised to be grateful for what I had. When I was a little kid, my mom would always tell us to eat everything on our plate because there was always someone in the world that had nothing to eat. So I was always grateful for everything that we had. And I knew that my problems were not as bad as I was making them out to be. I could guarantee that somewhere in the world, someone had way bigger problems than me. And that day I decided to change. That day I decided that was it. I planted my flag, and I drove home, and I told my wife, we are done being broke. So if there's one thing you can walk away with, is commit today that your life is changing. So when I committed to changing, I started waking up at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, looking at YouTube videos. I was going to say read, but I actually didn't even have any money to buy books. And I did this for years. My wife would ask me, why are you waking up? It's 1:30 in the morning. I told her, because we're done being broke. I got into life insurance for about 2 years. Just trying to make ends meet. I was still trying to do loans, but I couldn't. It was too hard for me. And I remember I was the #1 life insurance salesman for a small company. And I won a trip to Cancun. It was amazing. It was all inclusive, and it was perfect because it was all inclusive. I had no money for anything else. I think we stepped out of the hotel maybe once, like to just walk around a little bit. But you know what? When you have a wife that supports you or a loved one that supports you, that's all you need. It doesn't matter what's really in your pockets. As long as you have a deep understanding of where you're headed to and not where you are, then you're going to make things work. In December of 2014, I reached out to a few of my friends. And I wanted to know what's working for you. Because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know that the friends I was currently surrounded by, they were making the same amount of money, if not less, than I was making. So that actually was not serving my success. So you need to surround yourself with people that are making more than you. Whether it's money, if you want to make more money, surround yourself with someone that's making more money than you. If you want to be a better parent, surround yourself with someone that's a better parent. If you want to be a better husband, surround yourself with a good man. You want to be a better wife, surround yourself with someone that's a better wife than you. So one of the people that I approached was Albert, and I remember it took him about maybe 2 weeks to get back to me, because as I think some of you have tried to get a hold of Albert, he's not that accessible. But one thing you need to know about successful people, they're not that accessible. They're very selective with their time, just as you should be. So he finally decided to get together with me, and I asked him, what are some of the things that are working for you because you're doing great? He said, #1, associate with people making more money than you are. And I remember he showed me a screenshot of his phone with his goals, and his #1 goal was to make $1 million in 2015. And I thought that was insane, $1 million. because I think I was lucky if I was going to be breaking 80 grand. I think I barely had enough money to treat Albert, because Albert doesn't like to go to Denny's. So nonetheless, he said, associate with people making more money than you are. Number 2, start going to seminars. Invest in coaching. Number 3, invest in real estate. Invest in multi-unit apartments. I did that right away. Number 4, he said, look up Grant Cardone. At that time, Grant was not as big as he is today. I had no idea who he was. But right away I got hooked, and I bought his Cardone University. And I was on it every single day for about 6 months. And my mindset started changing. Things just started looking better for me. I started taking bigger risks. Me and Albert got into business together about 6-7 months after we got together. And things right away got amazing for me. See, when you're a loan officer, a realtor, or anyone that's independent, you can either work super hard or you can work smart. One thing Albert taught me was to work smart. Yeah, but you still have to put in the time. You still got to work smart. So I started implementing systems. I remember I opened my first office in the city of Covina with one assistant, really small, maybe 100 square foot office. And I remember the second month I was in business, I told Albert, bro, it's getting tough, man. This is expensive. He's like, bro, you got this. See, when you're in a relationship with Albert, Albert doesn't BS you. He's going to give you short answers, but they're going to be on target. So I went with it. That was the best risk I could have taken in a long time. About 6 months later, we went to the Virgin Islands to a seminar, and it was all about expanding your team, all about creating systems. And I told Albert, you know what? This is it, bro. When we go back to LA, I'm going to get a bigger office, and I'm going to hire a team. And that's exactly what I did. So I tripled my staff size. My great staff I know is in here somewhere. Hey. I tripled my staff size, my office size. It was a huge financial risk, but I started making more money right away. I started living life more as well. When you're in business for yourself and you don't have a system, you're literally operating like 10 different people. So what happens is you end up giving terrible service. Now, what if you had someone in place for every single part of your process? Can some of you agree you could probably make a little bit more money? Absolutely. So some of the things I've learned being associated with the mortgage guy is to hire a team, grow your staff, grow your army, put systems into place. You can either be a self-employed person or you could be a CEO and a businessman. Some of the things I want to share with you, that have worked for me in the last 2 years. Number 1, be around others at a higher level than you. Number 2, invest 10% of what you make back into your business. Number 3, have systems for your business. Number 4, hire a team and you will grow exponentially. Number 5, be passionate about what you do. Number 6, be ethical with your business. Number 7, build relationships. Number 8, make goals that make you uncomfortable and make a dream board. Everyone that's come to my office knows I have a dream board to the right of my desk that I see every single day. And I've achieved, I would say, easily about 75% of what's on my dream board. So just to share with you some of the successes I've had just in the last 2 years, I've 6x'd my income. I had my beautiful wife quit her job. I actually work maybe 25% less than I used to before. I tripled my staff, tripled my office size, and now I'm helping others. So thank you so much for being here, and please do me a huge favor and take action with anything that you learned today. Have a good day.
So the next person is a really good friend of mine. He's like a brother also. He inspires me every day. I work out with him. If some of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you guys see the lives. We work out. Every morning I wake up and I ask him, hey, what are you working out? And he's like, back. I'm like, okay, back. And then for lunch, I send him another text. What are you eating? He's like, eggs and vegetables. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna eat that. So I just follow whatever he tells me because he's a monster. I'm sure all of you guys know who Sam is. Sil's gonna say a few words of Sam, and we're gonna get him out.
So he's a co-founder of the Camp Transformation Center, and he helps people.
Any of you come from the camp?
Yeah, a lot of people are here to see Sam. So yeah, he's amazing. He's ripped. What can I say? The guy is crazy. I'm like.
You don't want to mess with Sam.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Sam. So yeah, Sam.
Sam Bakhtiar.
Oh, DJ Khaled. We the best. Yeah. We taking over. Listen. Spread out with South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, on the North Carolina, Philadelphia, Virginia.
All right, we're good. Wait a second, I thought this was Arnold Classic. This is not the bodybuilding show? Because the last time I was on stage, it was 2005, Mr. USA, when I won Mr. Los Angeles, and then I got runner-up at Mr. USA, and I gave it all up and started a family. So I haven't been on stage for a long time. I want to thank you so much for being here. They put me right after lunch when everybody's ready to go to sleep. So it's time to wake up. So get up and say, I'm the 1%. Man, that's bullshit. Get up and say, I'm the 1%. Look, I looked it up. And for you to be in the 1% depends on the different states. You only got to make about $400,000 or $500,000 a year to be in the 1%. Listen, we live in the greatest country in the world. Come on, give it up. We live in the greatest country in the world. If you're not going to make it here, where the fuck are you going to make it? Oh, by the way, if you have kids, you might want to take them out. You know, if you're going to be easily offended, you might want to ask Albert for a refund right now. Because I'm going to be me. I'm going to talk the way I talk, and that's how it's going to go down. All right, you good with that? You all good with that? Okay. So I'm not going to come here sugar-coated for you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Is that cool? Okay. Albert said you have 60 minutes, and people are like, are you going to be able to talk for 60 minutes? I'm like, 60 minutes? That's not enough. I can talk my ass off. So Albert wants me to talk about my story. My business partners and people who work with me, they've heard it about 1 billion times. So I apologize to my business partners, everybody who's learned 1 billion times, but Albert wants to talk about my story. You guys ready to hear me? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to tell you what happened. So I'm a Persian American. I was born in Tehran, Iran in 1973 with my mom and my dad, but I never saw my dad after I was 3 years old. So my little mom, 90 pounds, raised me. She was a mom, she was a dad. And I remember when I started going about 4th and 5th grade, we started going to war with Saddam Hussein and the Iraq. We were in war for 8 years. I remember every single night we hear sirens, That means that we're under attack. We have to go in the basement, and you look at the sky, it was like a light show. Airplanes would come in dropping bombs. They were, throwing missiles in the air, and I thought it was cool. I'm like, wow, we have light show. And every night we didn't know if a bomb was going to land on us or not. So they were starting to recruit for kids to go to war at the age of 12, 13. And my mom was like, you know what, I don't want my son to go to war and die, so we got to get out of here. So we decided that we're going to go and try to go to the United States. But at that time, our country and the United States weren't in a good relationship. Remember the hostage situation back in 1978? So America and Iran didn't have a good relationship. So we had to go to France to see if we can get a visa to come to the United States. So we went to France, and we applied for a visa and got denied. So that means we can't go to the United States. So, my mom was like, wow, okay, we have to go back. We can't go to the US. And I remember I was 11 years old. I was helping my mom, which is 95 pounds, 4'11", and I was helping her carry the luggage. And it was a big, big luggage, but I was always a man. I wanted to help my mom. I was carrying this big luggage for her. And then one night I got up, and I said, Mom, it hurts here. It hurts really bad here. And we went to the hospital, and they said I had a really bad hernia for carrying a big luggage, and I needed to have an operation. So they needed to extend our visa in France because I had to go under operation. I'm saying this like this is because if you ever listen to Steve Jobs, he says what? You can never connect a dot going forward. You always have to connect the dot going backwards. Everything in your life happens for a reason. And if you look at back in your life, and you're going to back in my life, everything happened for a reason. This ain't me. God gave me work ethics, but he set the stage for everything that's happened to me. Every adversity was for a reason. So anyway, we had to stay in France for another month for surgery, and then we became what was called a refugee of that country, so we can come to the United States. So we had to wait a year in France, and we finally came to the United States. Now check this out. So while I was in France, I was watching American shows because they said, okay, you're going to the United States, so I'm going to show my age. So some of you millennials don't know nothing about this. So I was watching shows like Dallas. Yeah, you're laughing, right? I'm not going to tell you my age either. Dynasty, like the A-Team. So I thought I was coming to America, and everybody had Cadillacs and mansions and swimming pools, and all this cool stuff is going to happen. So we're coming to America, and I was expecting all this great stuff. And we came to a little town called Sharon, Pennsylvania, which average income is probably about $40,000 a year, average household income. It's a very, very poor area. Do you see it? So this is some of the slides. This is some of how the streets look. The streets aren't paved. There's so much drugs, so much crime going there that you can't even hang out on the street. You see the sign right there? This is abandoned buildings. Matter of fact, when I first came there, this is called Idaho Street. A lot of drugs. My uncle had a convenience store in the middle of that whole neighborhood. Well, that's what Middle Easterners do, right? We buy convenience stores in the hood. So I went to my uncle. I was working at a convenience store. Quick story. You guys are going to laugh. I was in charge of the candy section and the cigarette section. It was like a candy and cigarette section. So I was in charge of that. And I didn't know the difference between food stamps and regular money. So when people give me food stamps, I paid them back with regular money. And next thing you know, everybody in the hood came to me buying all kinds of stuff, and because I was paying them back regular money, And my uncle later on caught it and goes, "Wow, you can't do that. You can't. This is a difference." I didn't know any difference. So this is, these kind of neighborhoods that I grew up in, abandoned buildings, nothing going on, crime infested. And remember, I came to America. I went to school in 7th grade. Now remember, 11 years old. I don't speak the language. I don't have the same clothes as everybody else. I don't have the same cut as everybody else. And next thing you know, you go into school and everybody is laughing at you. Everybody's laughing at you. And, oh, you know what? I forgot something. You know, I'm a father. I have 2 beautiful daughters. And I recently, first of all, after trying and trying again, I had my boy. You guys want to meet him? Cody? Say hi to baby Louie. And you know something really quick? This little thing gets more attention than that green thing right there. If I would have known that, I would have saved myself about $600,000. But this thing, you know, finally came to my life, and it's my pride and joy. Mama, you want to stand up? Thank you, Cody. Help me put this on. You know, in these jackets, when you get them tailored fit, exactly for me, what, 170? Fuck around and fell in love, gained 4 pounds. It's kind of tight right now. You fall in love, man, you start eating cookies and ice cream, and stuff fucking me up right now. So, anyway, sorry, I lost my track of thought. So I go to school, and I walk in. Now remember, this is Sharon, Pennsylvania. This is not LA, this is not New York. It's in the middle of nowhere. In 1985, I walk in, there was black people, there was white people, and there was Sam. There was Sam. I walk into school's like, you're not black, you're not white, what is you? They said, what is you? That was the exact word, what is you, right? So I go in there, and I'm like I said, you know, everybody's laughing at me. I have Payless shoes on. I have, you know, clothes. We were just very, very poor. And I don't speak the language. So I said, I want to play sports. I want to play football, because that's what I was good at. That's what I played all my life. So the guidance counselor shows me a ball like this. Oh, yeah, we have football. I go, my English is not that good, but this is the foot and this is the ball. I know that much in English. I'm like, what you're doing is rugby. I'm talking about football. They go, no, that's called soccer here, and we don't have soccer team. So now I'm in a country, I don't speak the language, I don't belong to anything, I don't have the favorite sport, I don't know what to do. So guess what I do? The only other sport that I knew of a little bit was basketball. Go on and laugh. I'm 5'5" on a good day with these heels on. So I played I was like, okay, I want to become a basketball. And for you guys back in the day when you know NBA, there was a guy named Spud Webb. He was like 5'7", he was dunking the ball. I was like, if Spud Webb can make it in the NBA, I'm going to make it in the NBA. I'm going to start playing. So I tried out for the 8th grade basketball team. I'll never forget that day, because that was a defining moment in my life. I tried out for the 8th grade basketball team, and it was a cold, cold Pennsylvania winter day. This much snow. I went and got new shoes. I got new gear. It was a tryout for the basketball team. I couldn't wait. You know, I was playing. I was all kind of getting there. And the coach said, okay, we're going to do a couple of scrimmage plays. And then you're going to sit down on the bench, and I'm going to call you to make sure if you made the team or not. So I sat on the bench after there. I'm like, I made this. I got this. I got this. So he called everyone's name except me. Even a guy named Dan Candiardi, I remember vividly, the guy named Dan Candiardi, he had triple bifocals on. He couldn't even see the ball. He made the team. I didn't make the team. I walked 2 miles in the snow. 2 miles in the snow, crying my eyes out. Crying the whole time. I was crying, I was bawling. I went home, closed the door, and all of a sudden my mom comes and says, Sam, what's wrong? I said, Mom, I didn't make the team. I hate this country. I don't have any friends. I don't belong here. I want to go back. This sucks. I go, this sucks. My mom, just like any of you guys would tell your kids, said this, Sam, all you got to do is keep getting better and try out next year. So she said, Sam, this is the game plan. What you're going to do is you're going to get up in the morning, you're going to go to school, I'm going to pick you up at 2:30, take you to the boys' club. From 2:30 to 5 o'clock, you're going to practice every day. And from 2:30 to 5 o'clock, when you practice every day, then I will pick you up, you're going to go do your homework, get ready, and next year we're going to try out and you're going to make the team. So that was the plan. So 2:30, my mom picked me up, dropped me off at the boys' club, and I started going out, I started playing basketball. But when I was trying to play basketball, I see these guys that go to this room upstairs. They will come out of this room. You know those guys I'm talking about? They walk like this. You know, and I was like 12 years old, and I was like, man, I was starting to watch some of the Arnold movies and some of the Sylvester Stallone movies, and I'm like, man, I don't want to look like them. These guys are jacked. You know? So one day, I'd had enough courage to go upstairs in this room. I'm like, what the hell is going on in this room? So I got enough courage. I started going up in this room, and I saw this little dungeon room with a bunch of guys, a bunch of big old guys, cussing, listening to loud music, just lifting weights, spitting tobacco. I got so intimidated, I left. I wait every single day for them to leave so I can go upstairs and work out by myself. And if you know anything about lifting weights, especially free weights, if you don't know what you're doing, you need a spotter. So I would go there with my scrawny ass. I dropped the weight so many times on my chest, nearly killed myself. Black and blue marks. But next thing you know, after working out for 3 months, I developed what's called baby muscles. You know what's the definition of a baby muscle? The definition of a baby muscle is the muscles that you can only tell on yourself. Nobody can tell on yourself. Nobody can tell you have muscles. So I'm in the mirror now. I got little baby muscles. I'm in front of the mirror. I'm 14 years old, going like this. Going like this. I'm going like this. You know? My mom one time goes, Sam, what are you doing? I go, Mom, look at my muscles. She goes, what muscles? I go, look, if you stand right there by the light, stand right there, check this out. You see that line, Mom? What I'm trying to tell you is not only I started transforming my body, but exercise started trying to transform me the way I felt about myself. My confidence, everything. Now I started, before in school, I was walking like this. Self-esteem was low, new country, didn't speak language, didn't wear the same clothes. Now I started getting a little buff. I was walking like this. My confidence started soaring. So that's when I fell in love with how proper exercise and proper nutrition can literally change your life. So I started learning everything that I can learn about the art of body transformation. I started reading every magazine, every book. I got $30 a week allowance. I get that, I'll go to GNC. I'll buy this vitamin, buy this amino acid. Next thing you know, I started working out. And my mom always said, ever since I was a little kid, my mom was old school Middle Eastern. Middle Easterns don't care about how much money you make. They care about your status. They don't care about anything. So my mom, ever since I was a little kid, she was like, Sam, when you grow up, you can only become 3 things in life. Doctor, lawyer, or engineer. Because if you're not the doctor or lawyer or engineer, you're nobody. So I had no choice. So I had to become either a doctor, or lawyer, engineer. And she walked away, and she goes, and preferably a doctor. So I knew I had to become a doctor. So I researched, when I was in high school, I'm like, all right, man, I don't want to cut people. I don't like to see blood. I don't want to work on teeth. What doctor has to do with, bones, muscles, nutrition, and everything that I love to do? So I found out chiropractors do that. So I applied for chiropractic school. I went to Penn State. When I was in Penn State, I started competing in bodybuilding. I fell in love with it. I'm the person who went and studied in the school, applied in the gym, and went on stage. So I graduated from Penn State University with my master's in pre-medicine and nutrition. And then I came to Los Angeles College of Chiropractic and studied chiropractic. And I was bodybuilding the whole time I was going to school. Now here's one important part. I want you to pay close attention to this. While I was bodybuilding, I was winning bodybuilding shows, but I wasn't being at my best. I would get really, really cut up, but my muscles would look really flat, I would look really skinny. So I would win my weight class, but I had a hard time winning the overall contest. Until one day, This guy comes up to me. His name is Patrick Lynn. He was a professional bodybuilder. He said, he's a guy from Mississippi. His voice goes exactly like this. Hey, Sam, check this out, man. Look, you can win this show. You know, let me help you out. Let me do your diet. Let me do your diet, Sam. All right, Patrick, what's up? You gonna help me out? It's gonna cost you $500. It's gonna cost you $500. My Honda Civic was $700. I didn't have the money. So guess where I took the money from? I took it from my student loans. You know when they give you student loans, you got a little bit of money left? I took it from my student loans, I give it to Patrick. So, all right, Patrick, here's $500. All right, Sam, here's what I want you to do. So he gave me this diet plan and this workout plan. Totally out of my comfort zone. It was like doing stuff like, I'm like, this ain't gonna work. But I gave him $500, but he's my coach. I was listening. But this whole time, I'm like very, very, very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. So I was getting ready, and I was getting ready the night before the show. The night before Mr. Orange County, he calls me up. Hey, Sam, check this out. I want you to go have 6 Whoppers, large fries, and a Coke. I'm like, Patrick, I've been eating chicken and broccoli for the past 12 weeks. What do you mean 6 Whoppers, Diet Coke, regular Coke? He goes, just eat that. I'll see you in the morning. So I go to Burger King, got 6 Whoppers, large fries, a Coke. I'm eating. I eat 2 of them. I'm like a pregnant woman in my bed, like this. And I can't. I'm looking at there's 4 more to go. I'm like eating it. I'm going like this. I can't even sleep. It was ridiculous, right? I mean, I'm going like this. Now, a few hours later, my stomach is out to here. My muscles are this big. Now I'm panicking. I'm totally fucking panicking. And we're calling him up. I'm like, Patrick, you son of a bitch. I should never listen to you. You fucked me up. You know what I mean? So he goes, I'll see you in the morning. He hung up on me. Literally hung up on me. And I'm literally out of bed. I'm like, you know what? I just fucked. I should have done my own thing, right? So next thing you know, I go to sleep. I wake up in the morning. I kid you not. I go to the bathroom. My muscles are like this. My stomach is this. I'm like, who the fuck is that in the mirror? Like, I all of a sudden, like, became the Incredible Hulk. I went to Mr. Orange County. I've never in my life dreamed I could look like that. I went to Mr. Orange County. I walked in. I said, which one of you motherfuckers is going to take second place? Somebody said, how you think you're going to do? I said, I'm going to win. Oh, that's a good attitude to have. That's a good positive attitude. I said, no, it's not a positive attitude. I said, today, I don't care who's on stage. Today is my day. Nobody's going to beat me today. I came in, I did my homework, I did everything I was supposed to do. So I went on that show, literally won every single thing on that show. I took every trophy that you could possibly win in that show. I won it. I took it home. And that became the basis of me becoming the first bodybuilder in history to have a first place title in every single weight class. Nobody's ever done it. Bantamweight, 144 pounds. Lightweight, 154 pounds. Middleweight, 176 pounds. Light heavyweight, 198 pounds. And one time, as a joke, I'm like, I'm going to compete as a heavyweight just to say I competed as a heavyweight. I wasn't even supposed to compete as a heavyweight because heavyweights are like this. Heavyweights look like Cody. So I was at 198 pounds. You're supposed to be 199 and a quarter. So I remember for a week, I was dipping cookies into tea, and I was just trying to get the food down, the calories, so I could actually make the weight. It was a joke. And I went on stage, and I won the whole show as a heavyweight. The reason I'm telling you this, there's something behind it. How I not spent that $500 of my student loan money, I would have never became the first bodybuilder in history with every title. Because Patrick showed me the way to do it. Now, here's another thing. I don't know if this guy, I don't know if this guy we met the other day is here or not. But me and Albert, I'm going to put him on. I'm going to put the dude on blast. So we're in a restaurant in Beverly Hills. Me and Albert are eating. All of a sudden, this guy comes in, and he's like, "Hey," he's probably watching live. I don't care. "Hey, Albert, Sam. Hey, what's up, man?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, you coming to the event?" "I want to." "Fuck you mean you want to? You either fucking come or you're not coming, right? You either coming or not. What do you mean? "I want to." You're a grown-ass man. Right? So I want to. I'm so allergic to excuses. I look at him, I said, what do you mean you want to? I was straight up went at him. He goes, what do you mean you want to? Oh, well, I'm pinching pennies right now. Pinching pennies. I'm like, motherfucker, you're in a restaurant in Beverly Hills. You ain't pinching pennies. That's $40 if you're eating right now, right? It's $99. Albert got it with $99 last minute. We got some shit he was giving away, right? I'm like, you're in a restaurant in Beverly Hills, you're pinching pennies? I know what's about pinching pennies. I couldn't afford protein shakes. Guess what I did? I mixed tuna and diet soda in the blender. That was my protein shake. I know pinching pennies. So you just got your priorities fucked up. Sorry, man, I just went on a tangent. So going back, I graduated chiropractic college. I got my degree. I gave my degree to my mom. I said, Mom, this is what you wanted all your life. Now, can I do what I want to do all my life? I want to open up transformation centers. And my mom, seriously, I got a picture of my mom holding up my degree like this, like LeBron winning the championship. She was like this. Like, it was her degree. I'm like, now you can call all your friends, tell them your son is a doctor, go brag all your dream. Now let me do my dream. Now I got $100,000 in student loans I got to pay back because of you. So I started the Transformation Center in the year 2000. I started what's called Fitness Concepts in the year 2000. And at that time, I started working my ass off. I was 27, a doctor. I was working my ass off. I was working 70, 80 hours a week. I was making 10 or 12 grand a month. And I thought I was Puff Daddy. Man, I was working 70, 80 hours a week. The little bit of time I had, I was in the club making it rain. I was like, oh my God, I went and bought a nice house. I had a Beamer, I had a truck. Nobody told me the ups and downs in the economy. And at that time, at 27, 28, nobody in my family made that much money. So I thought I was the man. I bought a house back then at the right time for $260,000. 8 months later, it was worth $400,000. Another year later, it was worth $600,000. So I thought I was the fucking man. I was the man, But you know something I learned? Anybody can be the man. What was the saying? They said, anybody, if the fish are jumping in a boat, you're thinking you're a good fisherman. Nobody told me the ups and downs in the economy. Nobody told me that. I thought the economy was always going to go up. Shoot, I was wrong. Also, when 2008 hit, I'm in the personal training business. All of a sudden, most of my clients were in the mortgage industry. Most of my clients were loan officers. Now their credit cards are declining. They're all canceling. It didn't slow down for me. Somebody put the emergency brake on, like, Argh! I went from doing $2.4 million in gross revenue to $400,000 in 2 years. And I waited, because not having a dad, one of my complexes, one of the things I wanted to do is make sure I won't be a deadbeat dad. I want to make sure that I have enough money before I get married when I have a kid. And guess what? I got married. My wife was 6 months pregnant. We have nothing. Now, all of a sudden, I have negative self-talk. Oh, you're going to be just like your dad. Not going to be able to provide for your children. You're a loser. All this stuff going through my head. So at that time, I was like, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. So I started just grinding. Then one day, I get a call from one of my old clients. Her name is Allie Fonts, Allie and Louis Fonts. They're my business partners right now. Going to stand up. Allie and Louis, they're my business partners in the camp. So one day I got a call from Allie, and I always knew Allie and Louis, I'm like, they always came in with nice cars. They're flashy. They're coming in and Allie was like, Sammy, I want to come work for you. Like, you want to work for me? I was like, what do you want to work for me for? So no, I want to come, work for you and this and that. And I'm like, okay, Allie's always in good shape. Louis came and lost 40, 50 pounds with me. And so she came and worked for me. And then after about a couple of months working for me, she goes, Sam, let's start a boot camp. I go, boot camp? Isn't that like another aerobics class? People are just going out jumping around doing jumping jacks. I'm like, that's some bullshit. I'm like, yeah, lift some heavy ass weights. I'm like, I know, but that's not going to work. You need one-on-one training. Because that was the old school mentality. So he goes, no, let's do a boot camp and this and that. And when you have a business, everybody and their mother approaches you about a business opportunity. And usually, I want to put them through the hoop to see how serious they are. So Ali came up with me with the boot camp idea. And I said, all right, Ali, you want to do the boot camp? Here's how we do the boot camp. Here's a bunch of lists. I give him a page this long. Go get this done. Let me know if you want to get it done. I'm like, I got rid of her. She's not going to do all that. I give her all this list of stuff to do. She comes back to the next day. She goes, I got it done. I'm like, oh, shit. I go, all right, I need you to do this because we need this done too. She comes back next day. She got it done. I'm like, oh, man, I promised her if you get all this done, I'll do it. I'm like, oh, man, I got to do this now. Fuck. I'm like, so all right. I said, I commit to do the boot camp, but you know what? I'm going to only invest $11,000. I lose $11,000, I lose $11,000, but that's all I'm committing. She goes, that's fine. So we started our first boot camp 7 years ago with just a couple of dumbbells, a couple of mats. It was ghetto as hell. It was G to the O ghetto. Like, I look back on those things, I'm like, man, this is embarrassing, you know what I mean? To now, we have 90 locations. We're an international franchise company, and we were evaluated over $50 million right now, from $11,000 7 years ago. I learned very early one of the keys to success is everybody always say, work on your weaknesses, work on your weaknesses, work on your weaknesses. Look, you can't be a jack of all trades. You cannot be a jack of all trades. God just made you weak at some things. You're just not going to be strong. I'm never going to play in NBA. I'm cool with that. And you have to understand that you're not going to be good at everything. For me, if you're weak at something, recognize you're weak at something, hire somebody or partner up somebody who's strong at what you're weak at. You go do what you're best at, perform what you're best at. I'm good at making revenues. I'm good at figuring out business ideas. I'm good at generating things. I'm not good with fucking people. I'm just not. I'm not good at managing people. I'm not good at babysitting people. I'm not one of those people, oh, you're late to work. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God. I'm not that. You got to work. You got to work. But Ali is good at that. So when Ali and I partner up, she took over the operations. She dealt with day-to-day operations so I can work on the marketing, I can work at business strategy, and that's where our business just took off. So my idea has always been, know what you're not good at. Don't try to be good at something God didn't create you to be good at. Just do the best you can do at what you're best at and hire or partner with somebody who can do what you cannot do, right? So now that you heard about my story, let me talk to you about some of the principles that are really important to me that's helped me in my life. These are my success principles. Oh, look, this is my neighbor. Look, see, that's my neighbor. Yeah, right there. Okay, number one. One of my mentors told me, guard your time like you guard your children. Look, I'll talk to you, I'll talk to anybody, but it has to be on my time. Don't just call me out of the blue expecting you can talk to me. You got to be on my schedule. Guard your time like you guard your children. Time is the most precious commodity. Don't waste it. I'm the worst guy when it comes to adult conversation. When you go talk to me about, oh, have you seen this show? No, I haven't seen that show. Have you seen this? No, I haven't seen that either. The only thing I've seen, I watched The Trolls 47 times with my daughters. I know all the cartoons are out, but I'm not watching an adult movie because I'd rather work. I'd rather get stuff done. So maximize your time. You know why I wear glasses everywhere I go? I'm not trying to be cool, because for the past 25 years, I only sleep 4 hours. Who follows me here? What time do I get up? 3 a.m. You know what time I go to sleep? Till I can't talk no more. When I can't form sentences, that's like, oh shit, you sound stupid, Sam. You can't even think. You sound stupid. Go to bed. You know? And then when I feel tired, I look at Uncle G. He's like 78 years old, crushing it, crushing it. I'm like, Sam, you're a loser, man. He's like twice your age, killing it. I love you, man. I'm like, God, man, how does he get his energy? Jeez. So even though I'm never physically tired, but my eyes sometimes are red because at my age, my eyes are getting tired. So every person that's successful studies success. They have something called a perfect day formula, a ritual that they do every single day to get them in peak state for you to be able to perform at your highest. You can't just get up and be like, I'm get up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I have an exact plan. The night before I go to sleep, I print out my schedule. I know exactly what I'm going to do next day. But there are certain non-negotiables. And my 4 a.m. gym time is a non-negotiable. 4 a.m. gym time was non-negotiable. I used to work out at my own gyms at 4 a.m. because we didn't open until 5. And next thing you know, I'm in my own gyms, bumping Tupac and Biggie with my shirt off. Nobody was in the gym. People heard I'm working out. Now they're coming in. Next thing you know, we're getting busy. Now we have a 4 a.m. class. And I love my clients, but I just need 1 hour a day to myself. When somebody comes in to ask you questions, you can't ignore them when you're in your business. So now I work out at a 24-hour fitness, but nobody knows me. At 4 a.m., getting it done. You have to understand, you have to differentiate your work with your workout and with your fun. You can't have everything in one place. Everything has to have its own place, for me anyway. So develop a perfect day formula. It's funny because I work out in the morning. I work out from 4 to 6. And sometimes on the way home, I come by a donut shop. I see people eating donuts, coffee, smoking a cigarette, and that's their fucking perfect day formula. Well, I don't know what it is for you. Whatever it is for you, I'm not knocking you, but just find what gets you in the mood to be able to perform at your highest level. Anybody who's successful has a perfect day formula. Look, concentrate on one thing. Here's the problem these days. With the social media, with the emails, texts, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know, Snapchat, whatever all that kind of stuff is, everybody's out everywhere going different things. I call it the OCD loop. Check email, oh, check Facebook, oh, check Instagram, oh, check text, oh, what's email, Facebook? Next thing you know, you're not getting anything done. Concentrate on one thing at a time. You can't be a jack of all trades and master of none. There's a book called The One Thing. Write that down. Yeah, you read, one of the best books I ever read, The One Thing. Don't try to do a million things. Don't have a shiny object syndrome. You only have to do one thing and do it perfectly for you to be successful. So be crystal clear on your goals. Crystal clear. You know what my top 2 priorities are in life is? Let me tell you my top 2 priorities. Because when you're crystal clear on your goals, decision-making becomes very easy. Decision-making is very easy when you're crystal clear on your goals. When I first sat down, I'm like, what are really my goals? Look, obviously we know God, faith, whatever you believe in, whatever higher power you believe in, are always going to be number 1. We're not going to talk about that. That's without saying. But for me, my number 1 goal in life is, 1, spend as much time with my daughters as possible. That's my number one goal in life. But when I can't spend as much daughters, if they're in school or they have activities and things like that, then if I'm not spending time with my daughters, then I got to provide for my daughters. You understand what I'm saying? Those are my top 2 priorities. Now check this out. So now somebody comes in and says, Sam, let's go hang out. Let's go have a drink. Okay, that's not going to give me more time with my daughters, and that's not going to provide for my daughters. So I can't do that. If you want to go have a drink and pick my brain, you got to pay for it because you got to pay for my daughters. You feel me? So for me, when you know crystal clear what you want in life, decision making becomes easy. If not, you're going to get bothered with all of this other crap. So know exactly where you're going, and everything else falls right in place. Tony Robbins, this is a Tony Robbins quote. Proximity is power. You know why I'm on this stage right now? Do you know why I'm on this stage right now? Because Grant had that, his 10X event. And I'm like, oh, man, I want to go to the 10X event. Then I'm like, I got to go to Grant's event. But damn, super VIP, 15 G's? I'm like, man. But then you go to, that's my shoes. Yeah, thanks, Grant. Yeah. So I was like, super VIP, 15 G's. I can afford 15 G's, but I don't want to shell out 15. Nobody wants to shell out 15 G's. I'm like, all right, I was debating on it. But I'm, oh, yeah, but I'm going to get to go to Grant's house. I'm going to go meet all kinds of cool people. I'm like, let's pay the 15 G's. So I paid the 15 G's. So I'm sitting in the front row. I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, when there's other people paying 15 G's, they got to be somebody, right? So I sat down. I met Albert. I met Ray. I met a couple other people. And I've already have 10x'd what I paid for that 15 G's. You know what I mean? 10x'd it. 10x'd it. Have I not been in the front? I would have never met Albert. I would have never met Grant. I would have never met Ray. I would have never been on this stage. So proximity is power. Let me tell you, me and my girl went to Puerto Rico, and I'm like, you always want to get first class because you never know who you're going to be sitting right next to, first class. But when we were going to Puerto Rico, they only had first class from Miami to Puerto Rico because they don't have direct from LA to Puerto Rico. So you have to take two things. So they only had first class. So I'm like, all right, I could, everything was taken. So we were coach, but then on the back, we were first class. But then guess who was sitting in the first class when I couldn't get first class? It wasn't available. Miguel Cotto. I would have loved to sit down right next to Miguel Cotto and just pick his brain and talk to him, right? So proximity is power. Proximity is power. A lot of times you don't want to feel like paying that money, this and that. But look, it's not rocket science. Hang around 10 broke people, you're going to be broke. Hang around 10 millionaires, you're going to be 10, millionaire. Hang around 10 criminals, you're going to become a criminal. Not rocket science. We talked about this. Get your priorities straight. The perfect example I can tell you is the dude we met in Beverly Hills. Get your priorities straight, man. You're in a restaurant, spending $30, $40 to eat, but you don't have $100 to come to this event. And you're in the mortgage industry. You're in the mortgage industry. You're not in the toy industry. There's a bunch of mortgage people here, networking. You don't think you're going to make $100 out of this event? You're freaking kidding me. Here's a big one. I thought I was the only crazy one in this world until I read Grant's book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. When I was reading Grant's book, I was like, man, this motherfucker is crazy. I'm like, this dude is worse than me. I'm like, I'm glad. I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, there's other people like they're out me like me because everybody I'll talk to like, Sam, you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you go to sleep. What time? You only need how much hours of sleep? What are you doing this? What are you doing that? And you know one thing I learned? All right, ladies, you guys are entrepreneurs, so you're the 1%. You don't even understand. The ladies that I'm talking about are not the ones that are not in this room. So the ladies you date a lot of times, with women, you're damn if you do and you're damn if you don't. Because they want somebody who makes millions of dollars and can provide a great living for them, but they want them at home all the time. Ain't that a bitch? Wait a second. You want to do this and you want to do that, but you want me to sit at home all the time? It's not contradicting, right? So if you're somebody at home all the time, but you can't provide the living for them, they're like, oh, look at this broke-ass dude, man. He's broke. He ain't got no life. He's always at home. God, he's always all over me. I wish he'd go away. But if you're working all the time and provide a living, oh, he's always working. He's not paying me no attention. Oh, this and that. So the women that are here understand. The ones that are not out there understand. But you know what? At the end of the day, I tell you and I tell everyone that I've ever dated, I say, baby, I'll give up everything for you except my dreams. I'll give up everything for you, but I will not give up my dreams. So you're either going to support me through my dreams or you got to go. So everybody that I've ever studied, everybody who I ever studied that is super successful gets up early in the morning. Everybody. No, come on, man. I mean, don't get me even started on this. I'm going to go on a rant right now. Okay? How the hell you broke and you sleep? If you broke, you got no fucking business sleeping. That's gotta be an option. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, you know, Grant talks about this all the time, right? He goes, and he's right. Because back when I was like 10 years old, millionaire was like, oh, he's a millionaire. Oh, he's a millionaire. Man, there's a new middle class. He talks about it. It's true. In California, $1 million will get you an okay home and an okay car. That's middle class. So if you're not a millionaire, you're fucking taking time off. You're fucking crazy. Come on, man. I had the same conversation with my cousin. Now, look, you saw where I grew up, right? I grew up in that home with my uncle. My uncle took me and my mom in 1985. But I'm first generation Persian American coming here. I was hungry. I just needed an opportunity. I was going to run with it. The same uncle had a son. His name is Reza. He lives with me right now. Matter of fact, he said, Sam, you want me to come pick up the Lambo and take it home? How you can't drive 2 cars home? He can't wait to take the Lambo home. So he's getting an Uber. He's going to come in and take the car back. But I remember when he was 18, he kept texting me. Sam, I want to be successful just like you. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Sam, I'm coming to California. I'm like, dude, come to California. You don't got to pay me rent. You got to pay anything, but you got to fucking work. You got to start saving money, and I'm going to have a power of attorney over your account, and you're going to only live on so much, and you're going to save money, and you're going to come up with, and you got to get a different hustle. So this dude, when he was 18 years old, I'm not joking. He comes in, I get him a job at my gym, and I get him a job at a Nissan dealership. So he was working 10, 12 hours a day. He worked for 3 days. This fool comes up to my office and goes, Sam, I don't know how you do this. I'm tired. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, don't tell me we're related, dude. You can't be from the same block. Please don't tell me we're related. I'm like, what do you mean after 3 days? I'm twice your age. I don't gotta work. I work twice as long as you. I'm not tired. I said, let me ask you something. How much money do you have in your bank account? I got $100. You have $300 headphones, a $700 phone. Hey, there he is right there. Come here, Reza. Come here, Reza. I put him on blast. I didn't even know he was on the fire. Come here. Get up here. See, I was talking shit about him. He didn't even know he was in the audience. But he knows the story. He knows the story. Come on stage, man. Give it up for my cousin. I love you, man. So I told him, when he was 18, I told him, you know what, bro? Check this out. I said, pack your shit, get the F out. My aunt, my mom, everybody was pissed off at me. How can you treat your cousin like that? I said, you know what? If you're going to support that bullshit, you support that bullshit. I'm not going to support that. So we went back home, a few more years, getting some bullshit he wasn't supposed to get into. He texts me back. I'm ready, Sam. I was immature. I'm ready. And guess what? He came back, and he's working his ass off. He's ready. We call him Mr. Five-Figure Man, because now he has 5 figures in his bank account for his first time in his life. And I told him now, part of his morning routine, he has to get up with me, go to the gym at 4 a.m. He's up every morning at the gym at 4 a.m. And I told him that's part of the deal. So, Reza, I'm proud of you, man. Even though I took a lot of shit about you, I'm proud of you. You have to understand, some people are going to be on your life, and you can't get rid of these people. They're family, they're close friends, whatever they are. But they're still toxic. They're still toxic. You know, how many people have close family and friends that they just don't see eye to eye with them. And they just pull them down. You know what? You don't have to not love them, but you have to love them from far away. You can't be around that. You cannot be around those people. I don't care if it's a family, I don't care if it's mom, I don't care if it's dad, I don't care if it's cousin, I don't care if it's uncle, I don't care whatever it is. A lot of my family members, I love them to death. I'm always going to be there for them. But when we talk, we're in a whole different frequency. It's like XM, AM, we just don't see eye to eye on anything. So I learned that I got to do me, and I'm going to go there on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and if they ever needed me, I'm there for them, but I can't associate with that kind of mentality. So there is a book, there's a study. Who knows the marshmallow study? Nobody knows the marshmallow study? There's like 2 people? You guys got to get your reading game up. So in 1940s, they did a study called the marshmallow study. And basically what happened was they brought a bunch of kids, and they put a marshmallow in front of them. And they said, okay, the kid who doesn't eat the marshmallow in a certain amount of minutes, they're going to double the marshmallow. And then to find out that the kids who were able to not eat the marshmallow, which means delay gratification, they were the kids that were able to be successful in life. In life, you're going to have so many shiny object syndromes in front of you, so many different ways for you to spend your money. If you don't not crystal clear on your goals and you're not allowed to delay gratification, you are doomed. You are doomed. So know how you can delay gratification. And delay gratification simply means that giving up something right now for something greater later on. But in this society today, everybody wants everything right now. They want to save money, but no, they want the shoes now. They want to save money, but no, man, I got to go to this club right now. Know what you want. Have a game plan. Learn to delay gratification. Okay, so these are the 10 notes. But when I submitted these to the team, I was like, I don't know about you guys, but my mind races all the time. I'm nonstop. It drives everybody around me crazy, but that's who I am. I'm always thinking about different things. So I actually came up with a bonus stuff on my phone that I didn't even put on here. So you guys want the bonus stuff? You guys want the bonus stuff? Okay. I got it on my phone that I didn't put on the slides. I gotta tell you guys these nuggets, man. These are really, really nuggets that's gonna take you to the next level. Okay. One of my mentors said, it's hard to do the right thing in the wrong environment. It's hard to do the right thing in the wrong environment. Look, if your environment is counterintuitive, is not counterproductive to what your goals or what your mission is in life, you're not a fucking tree. Do something about it. People stay in the same comfort zone the whole time. I have a friend that I went to Penn State with. When I graduated, his name is Jason. He said, Sam, someday I want to move to California. That was in 1996. And yes, every fucking time I talked to him, I want to still move to California. One day I just was like, I was done with it. I go, Jason, do me a favor. Let's talk. Let's never talk about you coming to California now. Talk about anything, but I just don't want to hear about that anymore. If you don't like where you're living, which is Philadelphia, you hate your life, you want to come to California, just make it happen. So a lot of people just want to do the right thing in the wrong environment. Who knows the 80-20 rule? Pareto principle, okay? Well, I don't believe in 80-20 rule. I believe in the 95-5 rule. I believe the 95% of the stuff that you're doing gives you 5% of the results, and 5% of the things is going to give you 95% of the results. You just got to sit down and know what those things are and do what I call do the stuff that's the highest and the best use of your time. Work on the stuff that's going to give you the most bang for the buck and delegate the rest of it. It's so hard, though. Even the smartest people in the world don't know the art of delegation. It's simple math. One of my financial advisors, He went to Chicago University. He has his MBA in Chicago. He's one of the smartest financial advisors in the world. I talked to him. The guy is like out there. But every weekend, he washes his own car. He mows his own lawn. I go, Roger, how much do you make an hour? Approximately? Oh, I make about $300 an hour. Okay. Well, how much does it pay if you pay somebody to do the lawn? Well, about $20. So you mean to tell me you wasted $300 and you could give somebody $20? Simple math. Simple math. I'm going to learn to delegate the bullshit and work on the things that's going to take you to the next level. And it's so funny. Some of the smartest people in the world even can't get that. If you guys listen to me, and if you guys follow me on social media, you know that I truly believe the difference between us and every other species is the fact that we understand and we want to get better as humans. We evolve, right? In any species, it's always evolve or perish. Why did the dinosaurs become extinct? Because they couldn't evolve. What any species go extinct? Because they can't evolve. So if you're a human and God has given you the ability to evolve and get better every day, and you're not taking that ability and becoming better, you're disrespecting God. So every single day, if you're not getting any better and you're just staying the same thing, you might as well become a tiger. Just go become an animal, become a tiger. You're the same person you were last year. You haven't learned anything. You're in the same place. I'm sorry. You're disrespecting God. So it's funny, man. I mean, I learned that money is a context. People always talk about, oh, money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. People who have money are evil. Me, this and that. I learned growing up in that. Oh, what do you want to do with all that money? What do you do with all that money? Money's bad. Money's bad. Look, let me tell you what money is. Money is an accelerant. Let me tell you what I mean. Money is like gasoline to the fire. If you're a bad person, money is going to make you do more bad shit faster. If you're a good person, money is going to make you do more good stuff faster. So money is just an accelerant. It's going to make you go there faster. So money is not a root of evil. You're the root of all evil if you're an evil person. If you're a good person, you can use that money for good. Did I see Grant? Did you donate a bunch of stuff to Houston? Or like I saw you on the example of some, you know what I mean? I went back to my old high school. I spoke to the students, and I donated a lump sum of money to my old high school. So money can be used for a lot of good stuff. This is not me. This is from Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins says that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Listen to that. Success without fulfillment is an ultimate failure. Forever and ever and ever, I was so happy that the program we created has helped tens of thousands of people lose weight, become healthier. We get letters, texts, emails all the time, how people are living a healthier life. Their life has changed because of our program. Now, my newfound love is the fact that now that we're a franchise, we offer business opportunities to people, and now they're able to have the lifestyle that they never dreamed about. Any of our franchisees here, stand up. Any of our franchisees here? Stand up real quick. Okay. So that to me, to be able to provide a system for them to be able to, like for example, Shannon was a firefighter. He hated his job. He didn't love what he was doing anymore. He was able to leave his job and do what he loves to do now. That to me is my fulfillment. Of course, it's my pleasure. So, got two more. One of my mentors said, Sam, if you haven't pissed off anybody by 12 noon, you ain't doing shit. If you haven't pissed off anybody by 12 o'clock noon, you need to step your game up. And I wholeheartedly believe in that. In this world of everybody trying to be politically correct, oh, I don't want to piss this person off. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, this person might get offended. Somebody is always going to get offended. Now you got to change who you are because you don't want to offend everybody. I don't care what you say. You're going to offend somebody, so you might as well offend somebody being you. Don't try to change you because you want to try to please everybody. Who said, somebody quoted, if you're trying to please everybody, you please nobody. And last but not least is I am where I am today. Remember my mom said, Sam, the only three things you can be in life, doctor, lawyer, or engineer. So my mom basically said formal education. So I became a doctor, and I'm gonna tell you something that not too many people know about me. I became a doctor in 1999. And I thought, oh, I'll become a doctor, then everybody's going to come to me with loads of money, and I'm going to make all this money. And that was going to be it. Nobody said anything about business. Nobody told me anything about anything else. Nobody told me about, just education after your formal education. So when I graduated from Cairo School with $140,000 in student loans, credit cards maxed out, creditors calling me, I filed for bankruptcy in 1999 because I couldn't pay bills. And nobody was hiring me. People were hiring chiropractors for like $4,000 a month. In California, what are you going to do with $4,000 a month? You can't even live in a crack house. So I learned that I needed to hire mentors. I needed to hire coaches. So I started heavily investing in coaching, in masterminds, in being around people. And I learned that you have to pay for it. Nobody takes free advice seriously. So even I spent $140,000, $150,000 on my formal education, I would bet that I probably have spent over $500,000 in education after college. And that's why I am where I am. So if you want to get better, get coaching, get mentoring, get around people who already been there, done, and do what you are doing. Don't let life go by. There are people who already paved the way. There are people who have paved the way. Travis, are you here? Guards, stand up for a second. So Travis is one of my students. And how long have you been my student? How long have you been coaching with me now? 5 years. So he's like, I remember he calling me all the time. I had all these questions all the time. Oh, Sam, I got this question. Oh, I want to sign up for your coaching. I want to sign up for coaching. And I give him all these advice. And then he never signed up for coaching. Then he called me one time, Sam, I said, look, bro. I said, I'll ask all this question, all this questions, stuff like that. I said, you know what? You're not having to implement it. You just talk, aren't you? You're just a talker. You have no plans signing up. This now. All you want to do is talk. When are you going to actually say you're going to do what you're going to say? I called him out. And Travis is a no-nonsense kind of guy. Travis, just come up here real quick. So he's a no-nonsense kind of guy, At that time when we started coaching, how many gym locations did you have back then?
1.5.
1.5? Whatever happened. So yeah, 1.5. How much did you do in gross revenues?
Maybe 300,000.
300,000? Okay. So that was 5 years ago. So what do you do now?
10 locations, 2 pending, probably on track to 3.5, 4 million this year.
So about 4 million?
Yeah.
So in 5 years, you probably 10x'd it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say about coaching at all? I mean, I'm not talking about, this is not a pitch. This is about coaching with whoever the hell you want to coach with. This is about getting mentorship, about taking you to the next level. Because if he didn't make the call that day, he would have stuck at 300,000, 400,000, maybe $500,000. He would have never been at 3, 4, 5 million, right? So what would you say about it?
Back when I first was finding out who Sam was, I'm a grinder. I don't sleep. I was busting it. I've been doing it since I was 18, and I was just going, just raw energy. I kept seeing this guy, Sam. So when I called him a few times, I was testing the waters because I didn't know who he was. I was like, you know, who is this guy? When he called me out,
You better recognize.
he said, you need to get this shit on. Well, I respect that because that's who I am. I'm no nonsense, cut blunt. I'm like, that's my man. So I signed up with him, and you know, he laid the blueprint out. And I don't go to masterminds and to socialize. I don't go out, he'll tell you. I go there, I learn my shit. I go to my hotel room, I map out a plan, I go to bed. I get back up, all the guys, where were you at last night? Getting my shit together. Next day, another mastermind, map it out. I go home, tell my wife, this is what I'm doing. I don't question it. I just do it. I don't think it to death. And that's how I've operated with Sam since I met him. This morning, you know, we're 4 a.m. working out. I told the guy there, I said, man, I hope he stays alive because I'll chase the rabbit all day long. I mean, Sam's always paving the way, and he's never let me down. And we don't talk a lot, but he's probably one of my best friends that I don't talk to very often because we have that relationship. But his coaching, he's just real, no fluff, no bullshit, lays it out there. And if you're not doing coaching, you need to step out. If you don't have the money, get a loan because it'll come back to you tenfold, as Grant says all the time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother. Well, guys, I'm way over my time. I just want to tell you, I want to tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity to be here in front of you. I want to thank, you know, Albert. I want to thank everybody who paved the way for me to be here. You know, I want to thank Grant, even though he didn't make me to come here. Even if I didn't go to his thing, I would have met Albert, and this whole thing came up. So I appreciate you guys being here. God bless you. Go out there and kill it. And if you guys want anything from me, I'm very accessible. Hit me on social media, but it has to be on my time. God bless. Thank you.
Yacht Master.